What is it about school anime that makes you laugh? Is it the awkward situations, the slapstick comedy, the romance? Or is it just simply because it's entertaining? Of all the school anime I've watched, I've narrowed it down to some of my favorites to give you guys a top 10 school anime countdown. Now, before we start, I just want to say that this list is my personal opinion, and if your favorite show isn't on here, I'm sorry. Maybe I haven't seen it, or I just didn't find it that entertaining. So if you want, you can leave a comment below telling me which one is your favorite, and if you agree or disagree with this list, and why I should check out your favorite show. So the only criteria for this countdown is that school needs to be a part of the overall plot of the series. So if the show is 12 episodes long and for 3 of those episodes the main characters are in a school-like setting, I'm sorry, this isn't the countdown for you. All genres are fair game here, and I try not to do all comedies, even though that is the basic genre for school-type anime. I won't be going into too much detail for each show since this is a countdown and not a review. So I'm going to stop rambling now and start the countdown. So coming in at number 10, we have Maria Holic. So this wasn't originally on my list, but after I watched it recently, I had to try and find a way to squeeze it in here. If you're looking for a completely different type of harem school anime, look no further than Maria Holic. This anime takes a lot of the typical anime tropes for harem and turn them completely upside down. Instead of the lead character being a hormonally challenged teenage boy, the main character is a young girl who just transferred into an all-girls Catholic high school. And just to add more to that, she's a lesbian, so you can just imagine the kind of slapstick hilariousness that comes out of that. Now, to further that, the second main character is a guy who is dressing up as a female to attend this school for reasons I'm not going to get into because this is a countdown and not a review. You'll just have to take my word for it that this show is hilarious and you will laugh a lot. In at number 9 is The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya. So do I really need to say anything about Haruhi that hasn't already been said? I guess I can say why it's number 9 on this countdown. This list isn't a list of bad anime to good anime. It's a list of my own personal enjoyment. And I've seen a lot of different school-related anime for this to be higher up on the list. I'm sure if you're watching this countdown, you already know about how much of an influential show Haruhi is, and that I don't need to justify why it's even on this list. So with that, we can move to number 8, which is Azumanga Daioh. Now here we have a great example of what a school anime can really do. Azumanga Daioh shows that a school anime doesn't need to be full of fan service and cursing and romance to be good, fun, and interesting. Azumanga Daioh's simplicity is what makes the show amazing. And if you ever feel like you just want to curl up and watch something lighthearted and funny, then this is the show that you should definitely take a look at. Number 7 is Suzuka. So now, Suzuka is on this list for one reason and one reason only. Suzuka was the first non-shonen action sci-fi anime that I ever saw. Suzuka showed me that anime could be more than, fists and power-ups and, what's new this week in fighting the baddest enemy that you could ever imagine. If you've never thought about watching a show like Suzuka, or if you've never heard of Suzuka before, I highly recommend you watch it. It opened such a huge door for me into anime because, like I said, I've never seen anything up to that point like Suzuka, and after that, the floodgates had just opened, and I decided to just start watching whatever looked interesting at that point, even if it didn't have spaceships and robots in it. So, in short, Suzuka is a story about the average high school guy and what he has to go through when he falls in love with a girl who wants absolutely nothing to do with him. So it's a show that has its high points and its low points, and it's really a down-to-earth kind of anime that will really put things into perspective for you, especially if that's the time in your life that you're going through these sort of things. Number 6 is the Ping-Pong Club. Now, this is an anime that has probably flown under a lot of people's radars, especially since it hasn't had an official release in many, many years. This show is drop dead hilarious, and I am not joking when I say you will cry of laughter. There is humor in every single episode. So the plot for the Ping Pong Club is you follow six eighth grade boys who make up their school's ping pong club, and you really just have to sit back and watch from there. The amount of crude humor in this show is insane. And just when you think that it can't get any worse than what you just saw, they will wiggle a dick in some girl's face and tell her to kiss it. And I'm telling you, I watched the first episode 4 times in a row after watching it, and I had to show all my friends because I could not stop laughing and I had to share it with somebody. Number 5 is His and Her Circumstances. So, of all the anime on this list, this one probably has the most high schoolish feel to it. You really get a feel for the struggle of the hormonally imbalanced high school student and how they are so positive that the person they're in love with at the moment is the one they'll be in love with forever, and they can't live without them, and that they're the only one for them. So the main character here, his name is Arima, and he's a bit of a possessive person, and it actually sort of freaked me out a little bit towards the end of the show. Kind of got a little stalkerish and a little creepy. But nevertheless, this show was so good that I actually bought the manga for it to try and continue where the anime left off. It's something I rarely do. I think that there's probably only three or so shows that I've done that for, and I think they're all 3 of them are on this list. Number 4 is Genshiken. So now we're getting into heavy hitter territory, and Genshiken deserves to be on this list for many reasons. Genshiken is the only college-based anime on this list. It's the only college-based anime that I've ever seen, and it's probably the only one that I really even know about. If any of you know of more college-based anime, please let me know in the comments. I'd love to watch them strictly based upon how good this show was. So Genshiken is a strict slice-of-life anime, and the plot follows about 6 main characters, and it just follows them and the day-to-day life of an otaku. And it is a great show. If you haven't watched it before, I highly recommend it. You get to see, what it's like to be a huge fan of anime, a huge fan of video games, and it really is so simple. And it's a great show to introduce people to anime. If no one that you know of has seen anime before and you really like to share anime with someone, I highly recommend using Genshiken as that medium because it's not, too bogged down with too much story or too much action or too much fan service because you don't want to show somebody new to anime boobs popping out in your face. That's not really something I would want to do. But this is a beautiful anime that anyone can enjoy watching of any age, and I really highly recommend this. Probably out of all the shows on this list, I recommend this one the most to people who have never seen this style of anime before. Number 3 is Baka and Test. So Baka and Test originally aired in 2010, so the humor is still very relevant as opposed to an anime done in the early 2000s, like a few of the shows on this list. So the plot for Baka and Test goes like this. There is a special type of high school named Fumizuki Academy, and the students get to commence battles in the school using little avatars of themselves. And the avatars are reflective of each student's skill set with in different courses based upon their knowledge. So the smarter a student is, the better that their avatar will perform in battles. So now enter our main characters. All the stupidest students in the school are shoved into class F, and the smarter the student, the higher the class rating, so the smarter students would be in class A. And class F is led by our main character, whose name is Akihisa Yoshi, and Akihisa has to be one of the funniest lead characters in a school-type anime, and is probably the reason why the show rated so highly with me, because of how funny him specifically is. And so if you're looking for an over-the-top romantic comedy with a different spin, I highly recommend Baka and Test. There's a lot of humor in the show. A lot of really cool looking effects. I bought it on Blu-ray, and I highly recommend if you get the chance to pick it up on Blu-ray, then you should because it looks fantastic. Aside from the storyline and all the different effects, it's a really good show. Number two is Clannad and Clannad After Story. I could spend an entire episode just to talk about Clannad, but unfortunately, I don't have the patience for that, and I'm sure you don't have the patience for that either. This is the most touching anime I've ever seen. This is the most touching anime you've ever seen. This is the most touching anime I could ever stand to see. I felt feelings while watching this anime. And if you have never heard about Clannad, if you've never seen Clannad, do yourself a favor and look it up. After my video, of course, but look it up. So now I have a brief list of honorable mentions. These are also great anime. They just couldn't make it into the top 10. If I had a top 20 or a top 25, then obviously they would be on there. I would recommend to watch Karen, Great Teacher Onizuka, Ouran High School Host Club, Best Student Council, Yamada's First Time, Kids on the Slope is a really, really great one. It barely missed being on this list, Kids on the Slope. And I actually had Rosario Vampire on this list as well, but personally to me I enjoyed Maria Hollick a little bit more. So finally, number one is School Rumble. So I'm sure there are some of you who don't like School Rumble or don't think that it should be number one on this list. Well, guess what? This is my list, not your list. And if you want to make one, go right ahead. I'd love to watch it. So School Rumble was the first anime that I watched after the whole Dragon Ball Z and Toonami days ended. And it really eased me into watching anime again. If you're trying to get someone you know into watching anime, I think School Rumble is one of the best ways to do that, along with Genshiken. I think, in general, comedy and funny shows are a great medium to introduce people to things that you enjoy. With an insanely large amount of main characters, it's damn near impossible to not find someone in the show to relate to. And I think that what it comes down to in anime is if you can relate to somebody in the show, then it really resonates with you and you enjoy it that much more. The show has 53 episodes and an OVA, so you'll have plenty of stuff to watch. And I'm not really going to get into the plot of the series because it's incredibly detailed and incredibly intricate. Like I mentioned, there are numerous main characters. I could spend an entire episode talking about School Rumble. Just to sort of give you guys a feel for how many main characters are in School Rumble, here's a look at the love interest chart for this show. And just from this, you can see how crazy and hectic this show actually gets. And if you're curious about School Rumble, and if you've never seen it before, and you want to check it out, look up the first episode. The show really sells itself how funny the first episode is. So I hope you guys enjoyed my top 10 school anime countdown. Like I said in the beginning, this is my own personal list, so please don't be offended if I skipped over one of your favorite shows or if you don't agree with the top 5 I came up with. But if you do or you don't, please leave a comment down below. I love to talk to you guys, as you guys know. And if you want to make a couple suggestions of shows you think I would enjoy that I haven't mentioned, please do that too. I'm always down for more suggestions, and I always like to talk to you guys. So if you like this countdown, please give it a thumbs up. If you like my channel, if you like me, please subscribe. You can stay up to date with what I do. If this countdown gets a lot of positive feedback, I'll be more inclined to do more countdowns. I got plenty of different shows to talk about, plenty of different genres to give you guys countdowns for. So I just want to say thanks for watching, guys. As always, see you next time.